Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage. So the president has not started that news conference yet. There it is. So they are really running late. This should have started over an hour and a half. No, excuse me. It should have started 30 minutes ago. It was supposed to start at 9. So they're still not going yet. And I was hoping that they would. So we'll join that in progress here. In fact, let's turn up a little bit of the. You can hear the room a little bit. There were some other things that I wanted to share with you. And then I thought, well, Trump will be speaking. Well, so I'll bring that to you. And this is okay. I think maybe I'll bring this to you. Hold on here. Let me, I'm not very well prepared because I started a few minutes early. I just didn't want to miss the president's news conference. So we're going to, let's turn that. No, they're fooling around. They're still fooling around. So we will return to that in just a few moments. I promise to show you this video this morning because this is just absolutely incredible. It's a do-it-yourself tow job that goes horribly wrong. You see the guy here, he's driving, and he's towing this car. You see the car right up here. And they're messing. And this actually takes a little bit of time. Yeah, there he is. He tried to stop the car. And get 3 times. 3 times he does this. Here he comes again, coming around again. Time number 2. Yeah, gets it all hooked up, starts to tow it away. It's the same thing. So he goes off here a little bit. And did that work? No, here it comes again. Oh my God. You know what? It'd be worth getting a tow truck. Oh, and there are 2 who are responsible for that nonsense. But I promised to share that with you this morning. Absolutely cracked me up. News conference is still not ongoing. Also, there was Patrick Lally had a piece that I want to share with you over at Sioux Falls Live. Let me find that. Hear it. Oh, now I'm not seeing it. Oh, here. Okay, now I can share that with you. Patrick Lally had a piece. Forgive me, not as well prepared today as I would have hoped. Governor Roden stoking fear, conflating safety with immigration. And I'm just like, Patrick Lally, he's one of those guys. Once in a while, he gets it right. And every now and again, he's really off in the weeds. People are afraid. No way of avoiding that conclusion after the scene that unfolded at Carnegie Town Hall on Wednesday. Dozens of Sioux Falls residents upset about the governor's plan to bring in the National Guard to assist the federal government crackdown showed up, and there were some. Oh, he has a more nuanced look at these things. Sioux Fallsians want someone to fight for them, to represent their interests in the continual clash of government. And then he gets into it was a plea for help. I'm going to tell you, I watched that. It was not a plea for help. It was not a plea for help. It was bitching, complaining, carping. The same thing that's what it was. A lot of that. It was a lot of that. And then he goes on to talk about, for more than an hour, speaker after speaker stepped in and expressed anger, to be sure. And there were some who were calm, and this is what got my goat. Sioux Falls. Now we're talking about folks who are in the country illegally. Sioux Falls is their home, legally, culturally, morally. Oh, morally, Sioux Falls is their home. Patrick Lally, you are absolutely wrong. You are absolutely wrong. You come into the country, you came into the country illegally. Don't tell me you've got the moral high ground. You didn't follow the law. I read that, and it was just a little bit too much for me. Morally, I think morality is on the side of people who want to follow the law, who expect that you're going to follow the law, you're going to enforce the law. And this is how nuts things have gotten. And this is why I get frustrated, because you'll never convince them otherwise, nor will he be able to convince me otherwise. So and we talked about it and on the air last week, what happened at the town hall. The mayor called in as we were discussing it to try to give his perspective to what was happening. And the Sioux Falls Police Chief John Toom was on the show, prior to that meeting, and he was saying, hey, as far as we're concerned, we're, that illegals, Sioux Falls police are not playing a role beyond what they normally do. They're working with state and federal law enforcement. That's what they always do. What you have are just people overreacting to everything under the sun. And Patrick, shame on you, because you are not helping anybody when you go out and you feed that nonsense. That is absolutely incredible. To suggest that those folks morally are on the right side of the issue, wrong. This is about law and order. You want to come into the country, you're welcome to come into the country. I'm not opposed to people coming into the country. You gotta play by the rules. You gotta follow the country's laws. If you can't start your citizenship by following, the nation's laws, please don't preach about morality. That's just, you're not on the right side of the moral argument on that issue. And I expected better from Patrick Lally than that, but because I've met him a number of times, very pleasant guy. We disagree on things, and that's all right. I have no problem with that. But don't tell me that morally these folks are on the right side of the issue. No, I'm afraid they're not, and neither are you. So don't tell us otherwise. It's just crazy. Kathy is saying Patrick Lally thinks his opinion is worth way more than it is. Well, I'm guilty of that, Kathy. Robert is reacting to that video of the tow truck. I used to drive tow truck. I've never seen anything so dangerous. I appreciate your feedback, Robert. Okay, let's go back. The president still has not taken the stage here yet. Let's see what's happening, because this is likely what we'll be talking about tomorrow. They are really running late, because I've been at this for 10 minutes already, and they are really running behind what's the time, because this was supposed to start at 9. Why did they schedule a news conference and not be ready I just don't understand that. I know he's the president of the United States, barring an emergency, but why did they do that? Biden was the worst. Joe Biden would schedule a press conference, and an hour and a half later, then he would begin. So they've not started yet, but we'll join. Well, I'm going to hang on that. I'm going to see if anything else is going on that I can share with you. The Obama appointed judge makes a ruling on Trump administration bid to unseal the Ghislaine Maxwell grand jury transcripts. So what's the government failed to make a compelling case to unseal the grand jury testimony. Hardly a surprise there, I think. Okay, here we go. They're beginning. I'll turn up volume. I'm going to go long today. I'm going to stay with this for a while. We'll see where it goes. Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Ash Patel there. Janine Pirro on the far right. She's now the DA's office in Washington, D.C. Here it comes.
Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room.
A lot of people.
And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly, like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety.
I thought that might be coming.
In Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Yeah, just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes through our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, when you take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they
Look at that
so do you want
chart.
to live in places like that? I don't think so.
Washington,
I don't
D.C.
think
is
so. And I
off
think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. D.C., 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. That where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against
I think he's
persons, as they
absolutely
say.
right about this.
It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down. And under Biden,
I
it
haven't
was a
believed any
disaster.
of those numbers.
And
of
nobody
you.
did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you
The
wouldn't
city
believe.
is saying, "Oh, crime has been going
Every
down."
American has a constitutional right to be able to access and
We just
petition
get
their
lied
government
to so
in
much,
safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person a while ago, was shot waiting for his wife. He was in the car. They robbed his car. They shot him. They killed him like it was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show. This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say. Days ago, a former member of the DOJ staff was savagely beaten by a band of roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking. He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it. In June, a 21-year-old congressional intern was tragically killed after being hit by a stray bullet in a drive-by shooting. A former Trump administration official named Mike Gill, fantastic person, was murdered last year in cold blood in a carjacking blocks away from the White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife as she was walking to the car. The Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason. Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol.
Those are
It's
heartbreaking
becoming a
stories.
situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day. There are ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against law. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, they love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything.
Why should that be
But
allowed?
now they are allowed to do.
That is just mind-numbing.
This dire public safety crisis stems directly from
what kind of insanity
the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central: no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out.
Isn't that nonsense?
I mean, we're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote, because the Democrats are weak on crime, totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things.
Focused on their end.
We'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out, how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things. But we'll be able to get that done. So, Todd, if you and Pam can draw up things working with the people, I'll get it passed. We'll get it passed with the Republicans. Probably won't get, think of this, probably won't get one Democrat vote, because they have no idea what they're doing. That's why they want men playing in women's sports. That's why they want transgender for everybody transgender. And they just got walloped in an election, in a landslide, and they haven't changed one thing. I saw the other day that
it's crazy.
a gentleman who was a very well-known politician, Democrat, was fighting like hell that men should be allowed to play in women's sport. They just don't get it. They said it's an 80-20 issue, and I think it's a 97-3 issue. And I don't know who the three are. I've never heard anybody nobody's ever come up to me, sir, you have to let men play in women's sports. You have to do it, sir. Nobody's ever approached me. I don't know where this issue even comes from. Never seen anything like it. But they turned our nation's capital into a sanctuary jurisdiction. That's the other thing. We have to get rid of sanctuary cities as quickly as possible. We're going to do it too. We have to, because it's sanctuary for criminals. Releasing illegal alien gang members onto the streets in 2022, nearly 70% of criminals arrested in Washington went unprosecuted. That's not going to happen with the group we have standing aside and standing behind me. And at the Metropolitan Police Department, it's now reached a small number relatively compared to what it was, but it's thousands of people. You know, we have thousands of police. I was told today, sir, they want more police. I heard a number, 3,500 police. That's a lot of police. 3,500.
His
I thought they were going to
expressions
say,
just kill me.
we only have 30 policemen or women. He said, we have 3,500. We need more. You don't need more. That's so many. I never heard. That's like an army. How could you need more than 3,000? It just happened 2 minutes ago. Sir, they've requested more police. Oh, what do they have? About 3,500. I said, 3,500? This is not a big area. It's ridiculous. What you need is rules and regulations, and you need the right people to implement them.
There you
We
go.
have the right people here, that I can tell you. Look at the border. Biden said there's nothing you can do. Kamala was the border czar. She never called one of the Border Patrol agents who are great. ICE is great. Never spoke to anybody. Never went there. But she was the border czar. And everybody said it was impossible to fix. I fixed it in 3 months. No, really. I fixed it the first week, but really fixed it over the last couple of months. And I mean, literally to a point where, as I said, 0 illegals entering our country in the last 90 days. Pretty amazing.
I think Americans are
It's
hungry
time for dramatic
this.
action. We're going to do the same thing over here.
Many
It's gonna
of
be a very
us
safe
are
city
just
very soon. We're not
applauding
looking to
this.
take
We've
years.
been dying
There's a
for
lot
it.
of people die in years, and we've got incredible people in this country, except we have to allow them to do their job. And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible. But I'm very competent. Last week, my administration surged 500 federal agents into the district, including from the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the
I'm
Secret
going
Service,
a lot longer than
and the
usual
Department of
because I want
Homeland
to stay with
Security.
this.
You know, a lot of nations,
Oh.
they don't have anything like that. They got some police, and they're rough police. They don't have DEA, ATF, FBI, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security. They got some police, but they're rough police, and they do their job. They don't have crime. We're not going to have crime either. They made dozens of arrests, and that's what starts to happen. Again, cashless bail. Watch what we do with that. Today, we're formally declaring a public safety emergency. This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, by the way, because we're talking about safety, but we're also talking about beautification. We have the most beautiful, potentially, capital in the world. We always had. But people come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come and then they get mugged. Not going to happen. Keep coming, because by the time you get your trip set, it's going to be safe again, and it's going to be clean very quickly. We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the roads. We're going to replace the potholes. We're going to put a nice new coat of asphalt over the top. No, we don't have to rip the road out and spend 7 years building a new road because they cut everything. Because some designer said, well, we need a 1/4 inch more turn for safety reasons. No, we're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly. So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this
I'm curious
moment.
to hear from them.
And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the
Part of
country.
the reason I'm staying with
He
this so
better be,
long.
Terry. If you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so
I'm
fast.
losing a few, but
Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. and you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police, and those people are the ones that want to help you. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district with an overwhelming
Washington,
presence. You'll have more
D.C. should
police,
be a model for
and you'll be
every
so happy.
other large city
You should
across
be
the
safe.
country.
When you walk down the street, you're going to see police, or you're going to see FBI agents. We're going to have a lot of agents on the streets. You're going to have a lot of essentially military, and we will bring in the military if it's needed, by the way. We're going to have National Guard. But Pete Hegseth will tell you about it. We will bring in the military if needed. People say, oh, that's so terrible. He's going to bring in, it's been used many times over the years. I don't think we'll need it. I think we've got so many great people, including the people that are in the police department with proper leadership. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street. Maybe get
I
them out
love
of the country,
this
'cause a lot of
focus
them
on law
came
enforcement.
into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people. These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that were given to me today that were criminals removed from the D.C. streets this weekend. They were rough and tough. But we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, you know. They're not going to be your local school teacher. Look at this guy. He has killed people numerous times. They're not going to be an asset. They will never be an asset to society. I don't care. I know we all want to say, oh, they're going to be rehabbed. It's not going to be rehabbed. I'm going to ask Doug Burgum to come up and say a couple of words because he's in charge, as you know. He's Interior, but he's in charge of the U.S. Park Police. And I've heard so many great things about the Park Police. They're proud of it. They've been there for a long time. Their families oftentimes grow into the roles. They love the country. They love this area. So, Doug, could you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the U.S. Park Police, this is the oldest federal police force in the nation. They were formed in 1791 by none other than President George Washington. They've got the awesome responsibility of protecting our nation's most sacred monuments. The National Mall, Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, Statue of Liberty, and out west, the Presidio and the Golden Gate area.
Wow.
These folks have tens of millions of visitors a year, the kind of people that President Trump's talking about that come from around the country and around the world to see our sacred and learn about our history and our sacred monuments. They've been doing a fantastic job, but they are so pleased, the rank and file, that President Trump is now allowing them to enforce the law. As those of you that live in the city may know, that the circles and the triangle parks that are spread throughout DC are actually federal park property. So the U.S. Park Police also have responsibility for that. These became littered with homeless camps under the Biden administration. All of you saw that. Since President Trump's executive order on March 27th, making D.C. safe and beautiful again, the U.S. Park Police have removed over 70 homeless camps. And President Trump also
70
talked about
camps. That's
they're
camps.
stopping in enforcing the laws against graffiti on our monuments. They've removed over 80 specific attacks against our history with graffiti on our monuments. So they continue to do a great job, whether it's in their vehicles, on foot, or on the mounted police that you see around the National Mall. And President Trump, they thank you. The rank and file is so happy to be enforcing the law again. Thank you for your leadership. And they're excited about the announcement you're making today.
Thank you. Very good. Great job you're doing. Thank you very much. Pete, could you say something about the military, if you would?
Well, Mr. President, it's an honor to be here. And at your direction this morning, we've mobilized the DC National Guard. It'll be operationalized by the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, through the DC Guard. You will see them flowing into the streets of Washington in the coming week. At your direction as well, sir, there are other units we are prepared to bring in. Other National Guard units, other specialized units. They will be strong. They will be tough. and they will stand with their law enforcement partners. This is nothing new for DOD. As the president noted, at the border, we've got 10,000 troops down there who've been operating in defense cooperation areas, defense zones, where there's zero illegal crossings because of troops on strikers scanning the border. We've been protecting other people's borders for 20 years. It's about time we protect our own. And we're working with ICE and CBP. In Los Angeles, we did the same thing, working with the California National Guard, working with ICE officers. ICE officers deserve to do their job.
Yeah, LA was very much in need of
work alongside all DC police,
federal
law
enforcement.
enforcement to ensure this city is safe, this city is beautiful. And as I always say about President Trump to the troops, he has their back. And my message to the National Guard and federal law enforcement in Washington is, we have your back as well. Be tough, be strong. We're right behind you. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm going to ask Pam, because she's now, as you heard me say, she's really in charge of a lot of what we're talking about. She's done an incredible job. People are going to start to see the fruits of her labor. And Pam, maybe you could say a few words about what we're talking about here.
Sure, President. Let me be crystal clear. Crime in DC is ending and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo. We have the National Gallery. DC should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe. Behind me and to my side, we have some of the best career law enforcement and prosecutors in the country who are ready to take this on. As the president said,
you hear the determination in her voice?
Is going to be supervising the Metro Police Department. Gaddy Serralta, our U.S. Marshal, is going to be supervising command and control, the entire operation. Our Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and I will be working with them closely, along with our great FBI Director, Kash Patel. Kash is going to talk to you in a minute about what we did in Virginia recently with Governor Youngkin. Many of you covered that, and it was tremendously successful. Not only that, our secret weapon here in D.C. is U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, one of the toughest prosecutors and a former judge. And she is going to be talking about juvenile crime, how it's out of control here, and what she's going to do.
Yeah, that's what's so
back.
Amazing.
No
young
more,
people who
no
are
more crime rampant in our beautiful capital. No more teenage girls beating a disabled man to death. No more of that. No more drive-bys. We're going to do everything we can. And working with the ATF Director Driscoll and Commander of the Army, we're going to all work together. That's what we all do in this room. We work together. We fight. Do not underestimate one person in this room. We're going to make DC beautiful. We're going to make DC safe again. Yeah. One other thing, just at the wharf a few days ago, the area of the wharf, Terry Cole reached out to me, not even nightfall, on the weekend, where so many families and tourists go. A guy's overdosing from fentanyl on a park bench in the middle of families around. They administer Narcan and saved his life. No more of that. The President of the United States is going to clean up DC, and we're going to be there to help him, and we're going to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, and that ought to be in every city across the country.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for your leadership, Deputy Attorney General, and the rest of our interagency partners. Mr. President, the following is what happens when you let good cops be cops. And I just want to highlight that before I get into Northern Virginia. This year alone, under President Trump's administration, we've had over 4,000 child victims identified and found. That's a 33% increase from the same time period last year. 33% increase. We've had a seizure of 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl up to this date. That is a 25% increase since the same time period last year. And just to put it in perspective, 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 115 million Americans. 115 million Americans. Cops are getting after it. The FBI has arrested 19,000 people this year alone. Thanks to President Trump's administrations, that's double than where we were this time last year. And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi. Your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities. And how do we do it? And what are we going to bring to D.C.? What we did in Northern Virginia, thanks to Terry Cole and Governor Youngkin and the team, we stood up a task force out in my Northern Virginia field office, and we said, let's let good cops be cops. Let's get them the intelligence and what they need, and let's get the red tape out of their way, and let's get DOJ partnered up with us to bring great prosecutions. And that's exactly what we did. In 1 month, we arrested 545 violent felons, 545 in the state of Virginia, thanks to Governor Youngkin's partnership. And that simplicity in law enforcement is what's coming to Washington, D.C. When you let good cops be cops, when you give them the intel they need, when you work with our Homeland Security Task Force, when you work with Terry and Gaddy and I go way back to Miami, these guys are great leaders of the respective departments and law enforcement capacities. And when you have the DOJ and President Trump driving behind this mission, we are going to clean up Washington, D.C., and we're going to do it the right way, the lawful way, and we're going to make sure Washington, D.C. is safe again. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it there for today. We went very, very long, so I am going to leave it there. I'm going to ask before you leave, if you're not subscribed to the Greg Belfrage Show, please subscribe. I would very much appreciate that. I checked where we were at. I have the count 421. So. Made some nice progress here in the last week. Looking for more people to subscribe. I would very, very much appreciate it. Again, sorry about the length today, but that was happening, and I wanted to cover it. We're definitely going to be talking about that coming up tomorrow on the Greg Belfrage Show. So if you've made it to this point, you are part of my gallery of champions. Thanks to you, and thanks to those in the Bunker Brigade. You've been seeing some of their comments throughout the broadcast today, those who are here each and every day, and we'll leave it there for today. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, my friend, please subscribe. I'm underground and gone.